All right, so maybe I've fallen a little bit behind on the advent calendar, but don't worry. We're running the lightning round today. 5 beers paired with 5 films. No frills, no fuss. Let's just get right to the point. Round one.
All right, first up in the tasting room is from the Landgang Brewery in Hamburg. It's a Hell's style lager, which we've already become quite familiar with. And as you can see, it is a very bright, clear lager. And it's fitting that it has such a bright and light color, as the name itself means bright excitement. But how's the taste? It's got that light, clear, refreshing taste you come to expect from a Hell style lager, with a little bit of spiciness to it. It's quite pleasant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you take your basic bright lager, add a little bit of a twist to it, and what are you gonna watch with that? Like the Hells has become kind of a standard for your basic bright, cheerful lager, there is a standard in Christmas entertainment, of course, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which has been performed in many different ways on stage and in cinema, on radio, all kinds of versions of it. Great piece to watch with your very standard but solid beer. And which version should you watch? Well, as the Land Gang Brewery makes theirs with a bit of a spicy twist to it, the version of Christmas Carol that you should watch while drinking a beer like this needs to have a little bit, a little bit of its own take on things, which is why I'm going to recommend the early 90s classic from Jim Henson Studios, A Muppet Christmas Carol, which was, in fact, the first Muppet film released after the death of its founder, Jim Henson. Muppet Christmas Carol features a variety of songs, original characters, providing their own twists and turns to the story that is actually followed quite closely. Depending on which version of Muppet Christmas Carol you watch, when it was released, how and where it was released, you may not get the full version, as the creative team behind it originally intended to include a song called When Love Is Gone that the studio executives took out from the theatrical release, thinking children would find it too dull. Yes, no one wants to fall in love, it's so passe. At any rate, the song is available now in the most commonly available streaming version of it, so if you've got the right subscription, you can find the right version. So find yourself a classic lager with a bit of a twist to it, and pair it up with the classic Christmas tale with a bit of a Muppet twist to it. You'll thank me later.
Round two.
Moving right along to our second beer, we have the Svenitzer Stein beer, named after the town where it's made. Stein beer, interestingly, means stone beer, and that is because, as the name implies, stones are involved. Going back to the original methods in the Middle Ages, wooden pans were used, but they couldn't be heated directly because it would warp and affect, potentially burn the wood. So instead, stones would be heated and placed in with the mash in the wood pans to heat it up as part of the brewing process. Well, this brewery still follows that process. And so, this dark lager is called the Stein beer, the stone beer, because hey, they use stones. Isn't that fun? Now, we've been having a lot of lagers, but I believe this is the first dark lager we will have on this series. And you will note that, as beer aficionados will tell you, years of research and tastings, the dark lager can be distinguished from your standard lager because it is dark. Let's see how it tastes. You've got the familiarity of the lager, but there's more there. It feels a little thicker, a little more full, more. You get kind of maybe some slight elements you would expect in a stout, like the coffee or the cocoa kind of elements, but not very strong. So it's like a lager that surprises you with its eerie past. You know, stones. What's a good movie to pair with a dark lager made from stones? There's so many Christmas films to choose from, but if you're going to pick a film that on the surface looks like your typical Christmas movie but has more unusual things happening underneath it all, I'm going to have to recommend 1989's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Oh, sure, right there in front of everything, you have a family that gets along, a husband and wife who clearly love each other, a father figure who is desperate to make a happy Christmas for his whole family. But then you get all these wacky characters, you get these sight gags, you get these sarcastic off comments, and all these little things add up to a film that recognizes that families can be a lot more complicated than we like to pretend sometimes. So grab yourself a nice dark lager and ruminate on all the strange things happening in your own family as you put on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Round three.
Round three. Here we go. I am not even going to try to pronounce a lot of the words for this particular beer. But if you're playing at home, here they are. Have fun. This is a lager. It's made in a small castle town in Bavaria, and it boasts four unique hops in its brewing process. Definitely looks like a lager. Very clear, very yellow or golden if you want to be fancy about it. Got kind of a citrus aroma to it, a light citrus scent. It's light, it's pleasant, it's got some complexity happening there. And if you've got a very refined palate, maybe you can point out all the different, oh, maybe it's citrusy here, maybe it's a bit of spice there. But I mean, for the untrained palate, it's a nice beer. It's smooth. It's a little complex. Now, the question every film buff asks themselves when they have a beer like this, of course, is this going to be an Ernest Saves Christmas lager? Or is this going to be a Muppet Christmas Carol lager? And that's a real fine line getting between those two. When you've got just a solid, simple yet slightly complex standard, you could really go either way. Different film buffs may argue different reasons for why they would pair this particular beer with an Ernest versus a Muppet. I can only give you my own personal opinion. You got the citrus notes and the four unique Bavarian hops coming together to form a cohesive team. While some of those themes are there in Ernest Saves Christmas, it's really much more of a Muppet beer. So I'm going to have to go with Muppet Christmas Carol with this one. Team coming together, getting the job done. That is solid Muppet stuff there. So if you've got a Bavarian beer made with four distinct hops that combine to provide a refreshing and fresh taste, Muppet Christmas Carol. It's the only choice.
Round four.
Here we go again. Number four. Got a very simple black can for the Alpine stuff. This Alpine, if you might have guessed, means mountains. This is a brewery based in the mountains near Austria. Let's have a... You know what? Actually, no. No. This feels wrong. We need to move. Just give me a second. That's better. All right, let's taste this beer. Okay. Okay, I'm getting a lot of feelings here. If I could put this into words, I would say that this.
Greetings from the editing booth. Although I am about to give a very detailed, beautiful description of this beer, my co creator Vern has suggested that I share a little bit from the beer tasting app to see what others have to say about the beer. I don't know why he would do that. Just sit tight. I'm going to give you the real description here in a minute.
Is a nice lager.
Now, for film buffs out there, you already can tell from the points on the mountain peaks here what movie I'm very likely going to pair with this delicious mountain lager. When I'm thinking Christmas time, I'm thinking snow, thinking skiing, thinking mountains. What else am I going to think about for this Christmas beer pairing other than 1981's For Your Eyes Only? That's right, Roger Moore as James Bond, 007, licensed to give presents to all the good boys and girls, right? Okay, look, yeah, I know what you're thinking. A James Bond movie? That can't possibly be a Christmas movie, can it? Look, if you internet jerks can make Die Hard a Christmas movie, anything goes. There's snow, there's mountains, beautiful shots of the Italian Alps. People skiing, people riding in that bobsled that the Jamaicans use, crazy stunts with the pine trees and the snow and everything. Just, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. There's ice skating. What else do you need? You can skip all the parts that don't have snow. Just watch the snowy stuff. There you go. For Your Eyes Only, a great pairing with a great Alpine beer. Before we drop into the final round, I just want to give a note to drink responsibly. While it may seem like I've been chugging these beers back to back to back, I've actually taken plenty of time and shared most of them with others. If you're still watching, thank you very much. Why not like and subscribe? There's no hangover. I promise. Round 5. All right, we're here to the final beer of the lightning round. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We've got the Tannin Hell, an award-winning lager from a multi-award-winning family-owned Castle Brewery. Isn't that fancy? And hey, they've got coasters. Coasters, yeah. I mean, yes, it's a lager. We've seen this color before, but is this an award-winning color? Very nice. You actually, you know, been trying a lot of lagers, and when I try this one, the first word that comes to my mind is rounded, like a well-rounded flavor to it. Sometimes lager is just like water. You drink it and you feel nothing. If you don't add some fruit to it or something, it just goes right through you and you don't even think about it. But this, it's got like a well-balanced, well-rounded flavor to it. I can see how it would be award-winning. How are we going to pair this up? Now, it's quite natural to think that an award-winning lager from a respected brewery should be paired with an award-winning film. Yeah? Well, true film buffs and true beer buffs, I'm sure, would agree that you really shouldn't base your taste on the opinions of whatever cloistered, kinky freaks decide awards. The Academy Awards, or Oscars as they're known, for example, despite being considered one of the most prestigious things that a performer could achieve in their lifetime, reveal very little, if anything, of the personalities of the people behind the decisions in each category of the awards. Best Picture? According to whom? They don't tell you. Do they want you to know? I don't think so. Whoever they are notoriously avoidant of some of the most popular types of films, and that includes holiday films. Very few Christmas films have ever received even a nomination for the Best Picture award, let alone all the other awards possible. If we take a look, for example, at the true film buffs top pairings for your typical lagers like this one, you'll find that A Muppet Christmas Carol got some amount of recognition from other awards, notably the Grammys for its music, but nothing from the Academy Awards. And Ernest Saves Christmas, need I remind you, the highest grossing of all Ernest movies, no awards, no nominations for anything, at least not according to IMDb. But if we have to keep true to the theme, let's take a look at potentially award winning Christmas films. Now, in fact, no holiday film, no Christmas film has ever won the Best Picture award. But a few have been nominated, and here's the list. These are films where Christmas is central to the setting or to the story. And if we expand it out to films that are set more vaguely around the end of year holiday period, we'll likely find a few more potential choices to pair with this lager, but doing that research is a bit of work, and after I've had some award winning lager, I'm not too keen on doing that kind of work. So, sticking to this list, any one of these could make a great pairing for today's beer. But as this is an award winning lager from a family owned castle brewery, I'm gonna have to go with the choice from this film that's about a family that lives in a castle. Now granted, it's a royal family, so when you say family, you could only really say it in the loosest, coldest, most self serving meaning of the word. The Lion in Winter is based on a play of the same name and set in a Christmas time of discontent for the English royal family in the year 1183. If you think your family squabbles are rough, wait until you see how Henry II handles his petty disputes. Here's a clue. The Queen ain't staying in no luxury resort there. And hey, here's a fun fact for you strategy game nerds out there. Eleanor of Aquitaine, the queen in this movie, same person as the Eleanor of Aquitaine that you can choose as the leader of either England or France in the popular video game Civilization 6. And that's all based on actual history and her influence on Europe during her lifetime. She was quite possibly the most powerful woman in Europe, so it's no wonder that Katharine Hepburn brought her A game to the role. The Lion in Winter features award winning music, writing, and performances, making it a surefire holiday hit to pair with this award winning lager, even if it didn't quite make it to Best Picture Award. And there you have it, 5 German beers paired with 5 holiday classics. We're almost halfway through Advent now. Stay tuned for more expert pairings to come.